How do you feel right now?
I feel kind of nervous, but I think everything's gonna go up pretty good.
So are you nervous?
Yes, but hopefully it all goes well. I'm excited.
Sorry about that. Please be prepared to hear some knowledge from a smooth young player named Jesus Gonzalez.
The Y generation. Why exactly this generation? We are the millennial coming from the centennial turn. For those that know little, listen and learn. We come from the early 1980s to the 2000s. I believe this generation will bring our world to desolation. It seems like we're playing a game of speed. Once a young innocent seed, not a problem with the peer, now so I can impress by the end of the year. I wish we could look back and see the major difference. We have fallen upon the path of resistance. What happened to going outside and having fun? Now we're just a first-person player shooting a gun. I believe we're headed to a path of savagery. We are close-minded, so-called human beings and very inconsiderate. We should pay attention to school and not be so illiterate. Feeding off the misery of people is a crime. Bullying is not an option, it is an act of crime. I wish these masked, anemic cowards would be less fastidious on the racial preference. We're not a bag of munchies where you just eat everything and excluding the pretzels. We are more than a minority. We do not just depart. Why can't you just accept us and look with your heart?
The next poet to the stage is one you're going to want to listen to. Please don't ignore her. Now please help me welcome Monserrat Mora.
Hello, everyone. I wrote this poem for those of you who came to the United States for a brighter future. Okay. It's called I Believe. I believe we all have a say. I believe we all are the same no matter where we were born or where we were raised or whom we hang out with. I believe we all have rights and that I can be anything I want to be as long as I work hard for it. I don't need a 3x2 piece of paper to prove who I am or what I'm capable of. I believe that I have the right to an education, but why am I being deprived from it? Is it because I wasn't born in this country or because my parents only earn enough to survive on a weekly basis? I believe I have the same rights as an American citizen should have. People don't understand how hard it is to live in a country that not only doesn't want you here, but talks trash on you, saying things like, stupid Mexican, go back to where you came from, when in reality, they live in a land that their ancestors stole. I believe that if I work hard for my education, then I shouldn't be any less privileged from it. I believe I shouldn't have to work twice as hard for an education just because I don't possess a 9-digit number. I believe learning is important. Knowledge is something that shouldn't be taken advantage of. Children all over the world go through a series of obstacles just to get an elementary education. My mama shouldn't have to work 3 jobs just because I wasn't born in this country. I believe that being an immigrant shouldn't stop me from reaching my full potential. We are equal, and this, I believe.
Now this next young man, I heard, it's rumored, his smile is killer, but we know him as Malachi Hibbler.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All right, my name is Malachi Hibbler, and the poem I will be reading tonight is That Summer. Roses are red, violets are blue. Nah. I can't start my poem off like that. Here, I'm gonna come up with something new. It all started on June 6, around 2:00 p.m. on a Saturday, to be exact. Arriving at the University of Kansas, a shy, slender-built young man eager to begin a new lifestyle, and that's a fact. He unpacked and got settled into his dorm. The feeling of a boy to a man was instantly being born. Now, this young man came across so many new faces, all of whom are from similar and different races. For the most part, all of the young man's peers were friendly. Little did his peers know the young man considered them his family. Enough of all that sentimental stuff, not to be rude, but let's get to the most interesting part about this poem, the food. As you enter into a buffet, you would use the metaphor to relate to heaven. However, for this young man, receiving 3 meals a day, man, he considered it a blessing. The food was great, so he couldn't complain, but his peers kept a close eye on him to make sure he wasn't going insane. The young man enjoyed every class the program had offered, which he had wished. From learning about epigenetics, environmental health, and environmental justice, it changed his perspective about life and eating fish. Art, poetry, technology, and multicultural workshops were very much needed. Each workshop made the young man more outgoing, enhanced his public speaking, and most importantly, he succeeded. Now, ACT, ACT, ACT. Fantastic. Sitting in a room for 3 to 4 hours reviewing trigonometry and identifying fragments. The tests, on the other hand, boy, they created stress. Nevertheless, due to reviewing, the young man saw his results rise, and not to boast, but he felt like his ACT score was by far the best. So here's the conclusion. The young man survived 6 weeks. He accomplished so many goals this summer, many of whom just swept people off their feet. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. This poem may sound quite familiar. Well, that's just because the young man named in this poem was Malachi Hibbler.
Give it up for my girl, Isabella Hang.
Hello, my name is Isabella Hang, and this poem is called Frenemies. Permission is granted for this heart-wrenching commencement, initiating blood rockets, launching from my emotional pump to my thoughtful core. From a neuron to the next, questions raced along my sympathetic sentiment, asking, how could you do this to me? And have I ever hurt you before? Emotions fueled the rage against my offender's actions. Truly, the purity of Snow White suits you not. No need to summon a magical mirror for a fairness fraction. Share of secrets and keeper of lies, the names you bought. At an unaffordable price, the price of my trust and the trust that didn't suffice. A game is not friendship, and friendship is not a game. For friends, gives and take to coexist, at least that's the aim. No longer am I your helpless pawn in a game of the powerful and feeble, but beware of each mistake, for you are quite predictable. You made your move, and now I'll make mine. Checkmate, dear friend, I am my own knight.
Now, this next poet, if you guys turn to the front of your program, he designed that. So, and also, I share a room with him. But I honestly say this all from within, so please help me get the stage to Reese Wynn.
Last night at 1:25 a.m., Poetry was checked into the ER. We fear he may have ruptured his emotions. He is currently in critical condition. He's showing low signs of any, if at all, ambition, and his sound lacks that certain source that usually comes from his conviction. But we're doing all we can. We gave him 50 cc's of inspiration, a shot of hope, and performed an emergency operation. We're still not sure if he'll make it. We injected a little bit of idioms encased in ink into his literate insides, but he's erasing quick. Somebody tricked this prick or pricked this trick because it seems poetry took a huge hit of something that's not good for it. We'll have to counteract the line attack that has attacked the advocate of acceptance. Maybe we can mount a comeback. Have his sheets combat the poison that seems to have come back, hit him with an additive adjective, add some adverbs, and alter his alterations. We should also modify his metaphors, examine his silly similes barely sitting on the side of his sentences. Somebody, bring the crash cart, bring the expert, bring in anyone who can save this excerpt. Bring in his mother, bring in his father, bring in the writer, bring in his lover, bring in his family, and bring in his friends. Bring in anyone who wants to say goodbye before poetry ends. At 3:25, poetry died. At 3:26, creativity cried. The next day, expression left. The day after that, love dipped. A week later, hope split. Faith was depressed, and depression fell deep inside it to it. And depression dived deep inside itself like real quick. But without poetry, no one spoke of this. Without our voices to voice our vocals, we all remain voiceless. We called for poetry's power of passion to empower us, but he failed to answer. Here lies poetry is the last thing read on the tombstone of its last stanza.
Hello? Okay, my name is Aga, and this poem is called No One Teaches Love. We teach women to pursue what is convenient instead of what is worthy of their pursuit. Tell them to settle for Prince Charming and the prince, neglecting the fact that neither knew the name of their brides before their blissful wedded ties. Act as if the prince didn't fall in love with a dead girl and the beast didn't hold Belle hostage. Act as if both Johns weren't trying to whitewash Pocahontas' identity, and Shang couldn't initially respect Mulan's duty to her destiny. Tell them to look up to strong women but settle for fairy tale men that will never give them a happily ever after. Tell them to cut and piece fragments of other women, curves like Queen Bee, booty like the rap queen, thick lips like a reality queen. We tell them to allow men to become their Dr. Frankenstein. We don't tell them that man becomes afraid of its very own creation. So Frankenstein never named the creature. At morning, called it a creature. At midday, called it a creature. At nighttime, called it a creature. Let boys call you a creature, but you will never hear your name on their lips because you are their creature. Tell them to love up to wifey goals and bae goals when in reality all they are is the side hoe. Tell them to love men so much that they learn themselves to hate men more than love them, and even more, hate the reflection that they see. Tell them that their reflection is more important than what's on the inside, so they think, who is this girl I see? I wish she wasn't staring back at me. We teach men to be manly as if man is not part of humanity. Tell them that their actions speak louder than their words, and their first action should be to ward away feelings, as if the heart that beats in their chest is meant only to give life to fists and kicks. Tell them that a woman's body is unnatural, but murder is completely normal. So instead of learning to latch onto breasts, they learn to latch onto guns and hatred. Never give them a role model who doesn't use violence to solve their problems. Oh, wait. We gave them Gandhi and MLK, but funny how those guns that we teach them to latch onto are the reason they have nothing to reach to leech to preach to them about the power of love. I have a dream that the next MLK will not be killed for using the power of love instead of being devoured by hatred. I have a dream that we will stop telling boys that things are exclusively meant for girls, that tears are for girls, that hugs are for girls, that feelings are for girls, that love is for girls. I have a dream that we will stop telling girls to measure their worth based off of fairy tale men that will only have 5 lines and claim to be the protagonist of their story. I have a dream that we will tell girls to be the heroes of their own stories. We teach girls to become women that are deserving of a man's love. We teach boys to become a man that is deserving of a woman's awe. Yet, we teach neither how to love. Thank you.